What is good, internet? It is Spirit of Paradox here and welcome back to another video. Today we'll be covering Godzilla vs. the Incredible Hulk. When Marvel revealed this comic, it was an automatic purchase from me, with me being a lifelong Hulk and Godzilla fan. My first introduction to Godzilla was with the 1998 movie, and still love it very much to this day, despite all of its controversy. And I love pretty much most of Godzilla films out there, especially the Toho ones from the Showa, the Heisei and the Millennium era, and of course the Reiwa era that we are in. And knowing that we're gonna see Godzilla go up against the Incredible Hulk and team up with him, yeah, that was an automatic. I'm gonna cover this on the channel as well. So this is for the Godzilla and Hulk fans on the channel. I hope you guys enjoy. If you guys do, make sure you drop a like, and if you are new to the channel, subscribe. Let's begin. The story begins at Thunderbolt Ranch, and we see General Ross being interviewed. Well folks, that's all the time I've got for ya, Gump Bumpin', cause I reckon it's time for you to mosey off. Everybody at Thunderbolt Ranch is busy working on our most dangerous project ever, capturing and pacifying Godzilla. Is that a euphemism for? Asks one of the reporters. No more questions, says Ross. But of course, the reporters keep asking questions. Jackson Giles of the Daily Bugle of Texas. Excuse me, General. What do you say to the Americans who think the Hulk is alive in a basement gulag under Thunderbolt Ranch? Well, you got my goat, Mr. Giles. Hop in the bird. There's something I want you to see. Ross further explains. Thunderbolt Ranch extends down into the ground, almost 80 stories, and there's national secrets, eggheads, and monsters that I hope never see the light of day. But the Hulk is deader than Elvis. The 1980s are just around the corner, but Thunderbolt Ross is still taking care of business. Down with the aforementioned bunker, a brilliant scientist with a big secret roamed. He learned that the art of meditation, and it had been a few years since he lost control of his temper. Dr. Demonicus. Dr. Banner. Will the containment hold? Worry not, Bruce. My kaiju incinerator will be more than enough for the so-called king of the monsters. Just be sure you and Ross do your parts. We return to General Ross and Jackson Giles, and he asks the General, you killed Fin Fang Foom, Hulk, Surtur, and so many others, but not Godzilla. How do you intend to do it? This is Texas, son. Bagging a big game requires big bait. It just so happens that we have an ace up our sleeve. Kumanga, the giant spider, had trapped the mild-mannered Mothra. The winged wonders' shrieks of pain were heartbreaking, even to the most callous of hearts. And General Ross's ace was the contraption on Kumanga's head. In the next page, we follow up with the team that are working on the kaiju destroying machine. Dr. Demonicus devised a plan so devious that it sent chills down the spines of other Thunderbolts. They had failed to kill Godzilla for years, and now Dr. Demonicus had enslaved an angry arachnid. Once again, I object to this. Surely there was a less cruel plot to lure Godzilla here, says Bruce. Ha! You radiate weakness, Banner. All of these abominations must be cleansed. My control over Kumanga might not last long, but the cries of Mothra will be too much for Godzilla to resist. They have shown some camaraderie in the past. Dr. Banner asks an interesting question. What happens when Godzilla is off the board? What will you do then? Look at me. Look at what this war has cost me. My body has been desecrated in this fight. I'm hollowed out from within. These kaiju have utterly destroyed me. Be grateful, Dr. Banner, that you have no idea what it's like to be a monster, says Dr. Demonicus. And the thing is, Dr. Banner knows all good and well what it's like to be a monster. Dr. Demonicus' demented plan worked exactly like the mad scientist had hoped. The anguished cries of Mothra summoned Godzilla to San Antonio. As we see, the king of the monsters himself, Godzilla, is fighting the military. Godzilla knocks a plane out of the sky with his hands, with somebody shouting over the radio, "Damn it! Stearns is down. Repeat, call sign leader is down. Send medics," as we see the plane crash into the ground. "Samson, get this civilian clear and get me to the barn. I gotta get to my Bronco." "Yes, sir." And then we see Thunderbolt Ross jump out the helicopter and shout, "Banner, meet me in the barn." "Copy that, General," as we see him parachute his way down. General Thunderbolt Ross had fought in wars for almost his entire life. Most of them were filed in history books. Some were secret, but the war to end the kaiju threat was his most difficult to charge. He sent many men to their deaths, but he was always willing to pay the ultimate price. That's why he always led the battle from the front lines. Today's cataclysmic battle with Godzilla will be no different. "Okay, sir, we just want to establish a baseline and skip the egg slop, son. Close the hatch and get me into the fight," says General Ross. The scientist closes the door behind Ross and says, "Good hunting, sir." "This is Banner. I'm ready to deploy my pre-flight check. Is all green," says Bruce. "Thunderbolt 1 and 2, you are ready to engage Godzilla. Be wary. It's likely the giant lizard has some affinity for Mothra and will be angry at her mistreated by Kumanga. Launch," says Dr. Demonicus. And we find out Bruce Banner and General Ross are flying out in giant MechaGodzillas. The rebuilt MechaGodzillas should be more than enough, and the performance of these machines have been vastly improved by Tony Stark, and no longer do we need to remote pilot them. May Stark rest in peace, and Godzilla may have crushed him, but perhaps his genius intellect will help us finally rid the scaly curse. Godzilla uses his atomic breath against the mecha as one of the pilots is in distress. "The heat! I can barely stand it!" General Ross sees this and says, "All right, keep him looking at you, Banner. I'm gonna open up a can of 4th of July on this lout." As we see, his MechaGodzilla shoots out missiles and hits Godzilla, sending him flying. As the room that the scientists are in begins to shake, one of them shouts, "Good lord, we'll be trapped down here." But Dr. Demonicus responds, "Perhaps we'll all die today, but we're dragging Godzilla to hell with us," redirecting Kumanga to attack. "Kumanga, ignore Mothra and attack Godzilla. Make sure Godzilla is ensnared in your webs. Press the advantage. There is no tomorrow," shouts Dr. Demonicus. Godzilla sees this all happening and then grabs onto Ross's mecha and throws it into Kumanga. "This is Thunderbolt 1. He's knocking me into the damn spider. Get in the game, Banner. I can't handle this all by myself." Kumanga's webs were like steel, but they were no match for the giant, Godzilla, as we see the king of the monsters tear off the webs like they're nothing. "Oh boy," says Bruce. Godzilla goes in for the attack and begins to tear the MechaGodzilla to pieces by ripping off his arm. "This is Banner. Thunderbolt 2 is being disarmed," as we see Godzilla use MechaGodzilla's arm as a weapon and starts destroying it. "Literally," he says. Godzilla begins to roar and then activates his atomic heat ray, hitting both Kumonga and MechaGodzilla with Bruce inside. Demonicus, do something! This monster's taken out both of our Broncos. You said you had a failsafe. It's time to empty the gun, Doc, shouts Bruce. Demonicus responds, Yes, it is time for me to do something. It is time for me to pay everyone back. The monsters and the man who brought me to ruin. I have waited a long time to gather all of my enemies into one place. We have been hunting kaiju for a long time. Godzilla cannot be controlled, but if I told you how I planned to kill him, you would have never let me. You see, I have been slowly breaking down the bodies of the monsters in my incinerator, but I've also been creating life, a new monster that will cull the kaiju forever. And rather a constant war for dominance, we will simply have one single dominant ruler. General Ross hears this. Damn it, Demonicus. What the hell kind of claptrap are you spewing? If you've hornswoggled me, My god. Demonicus didn't build a kaiju sarcophagus. It's an egg, and it's hatching, says Bruce. And Demonicus goes on a speech and says, Do you remember what price you said you would pay to kill Godzilla, Ross? You said the magic word, anything. Well, gentlemen, meet anything. The horrible allogram of monsters. Behold, Hedorah, from Godzilla vs. Hedorah from the Showa era. I splice most of the deadly and robust traits of all of the kaiju we've slain, from Fin Fang Foom on down. As Godzilla and Hedorah begin to fight, Demonicus continues to speak. Hedorah will be a scourge, but he will only be one. I will have restored balance to the planet. My creation will be more than enough to take down the so-called king of the monsters. And as we see, Bruce Banner is still inside of his mecha and says, I can't eject, as we see Godzilla fall onto the mecha. Bruce begins to panic and shout, The systems are offline. I'm trapped. The monsters are crushing the hull. And this causes a transformation in the Hulk. I want to live, he shouts. Some secrets slip out. Others burst free. Today was the day Banner's rage escaped the cage. The Incredible Hulk was free once more, jumping out of the ruined MechaGodzilla, shouting, Hulk hate robots and Hulk hate bugs, but Hulk hates slime monsters most of all, as he begins to fight with Hedorah. Puny Banner hides with stupid mustache man? Banner works against Hulk with thunderbolts? Hulk hate Puny Banner. Dr. Demonicus sees this. This is unexpected. It won't do at all. How could this be possible? If Dr. Banner was the Hulk, I wonder who we buried in that grave. As the battle between the Hulk and Hedorah continues, General Ross is shocked. How in the hell is the Hulk still alive? And Demonicus, call off your sludge monster, or I'm gonna give you a lullaby with my boots. Hedorah is melting your mecha. Are you sure you would like those to be your final words, Ross? Says Demonicus. And while these two are arguing over the radio, Hulk is laughing at Ross. You hear that, Ross? Hulk is laughing at you, as he breaks into the MechaGodzilla to actually save him, hiding inside your metal suit, pretending to be strong like Hulk. And then we see him grab him and fly off. I don't know what's more humiliating, that you laughed at me, or that you're saving my bacon, says Ross. As Hulk finds a safe location to put Ross down, he lets him know. Hulk hates Ross. Now Ross get to thank Hulk every day you live. But Ross is shocked that the Hulk is still alive. If you're still alive, who's in the Hulk's grave? Hulk not a monster like Banner is. Banner always blames others for his problems. Bicycle Boy Rick Jones was his pasty. Now Ross, shut up and watch. Hulk smash all the monsters as he jumps back into the sky, getting ready for another fight. Perhaps Dr. Demonicus' demon would have succeeded. The sludge monster penetrated deep through the soft point in Godzilla's armor, its eyes. Dr. Demonicus' monster was dissolving Godzilla faster than it could heal. The optic nerves were the first to go, and the sludge monster pushed towards Godzilla's brain. But then, the Incredible Hulk saves Godzilla by punching Hedorah in its eye. Hulk hates Big Lizard, but not as much as Garbage Monster. But then he realizes his hand is beginning to burn. The Hulk screams in pain. Hulk hand hurts. But we see Demonicus was listening. Ah, Hulk, you small-minded dolt. You can't fight Hedorah. He's the perfect creation. A child of my superior intellect and the DNA of hundreds of monsters slain by the T-bolts. Can you hear me through what's left of the MechaGodzilla's, Hulk? I want you to know that soon you'll be as dead as Godzilla and all the rest. Hulk gets an idea and says, "You all say Hulk is a monster, but I'm wrong. Maybe your dumb mouth was wrong about Godzilla too," as we see Hulk jump up to one of those poles that have cables on them. He rips one of the cables off and says, "Hulk saw Banner tickle Heart with electricity once. Now Dr. Hulk, save Godzilla," as he takes the cable and jumps with it towards Godzilla's chest, attempting to resuscitate him. The Hulk uses his blood to revive Godzilla and gets it into his bloodstream. And then the transformation begins. Grab your reins tight, dear reader. The eyes on Godzilla are now green. As we see the Hulk use the cable to tie up Hedorah, it's now too late. Hedorah had the advantage in every way, especially size. But now, not anymore. Because now, it's Godzilla's turn to smash, as we see a hulked out Godzilla fully emerged, and he looks pretty dope, I must say. And now Hedorah's about to get his ass kicked. We see Godzilla punch Hedorah, sending him flying, and then using his new gamma-charged atomic heat ray. The fury of Godzilla burned with the anger of the Incredible Hulk, and in a single powerful blow, Hedorah was no more. No, not when I was so close. Dr. Demonicus was right about one thing. Today was the day he would die, as the remains of Hedorah seeped into the base and covered him in mush, setting him ablaze, killing Demonicus. As things begin to settle down, we see the Hulk begins to help the other kaiju. Hulk knows pain of humans using the Hulk. Hulk free big dumb spider as he rips the container off of Kumonga's neck, and we see Godzilla tear the webbing off Mothra, and Kumonga and Mothra walk off into the sunset. But we both have Hulk and Godzilla remaining, and Hulk tells Godzilla, "Hulk is the strongest one there is, but Hulk no want to prove that today." The gamma radiation takes a toll on any being, even Hulk and Godzilla. Both monsters collapse as their gamma rages subside. And a short time later, Dr. Banner was awake, and it was the Hulk who was slumbering. As we see General Ross pull up with a gun, pointing at Bruce, and he says, "So, you fingered that poor kid as the Hulk, and then let us kill him. Give me one good reason why I shouldn't pull this trigger, Banner. And he tells him, well, my calculus on not pulling the trigger is easy. I wouldn't want to make Godzilla angry, says Bruce. And Godzilla turns back around just to roar at Ross to let him know, you mess with Bruce, you mess with me. And General Ross knows that, so he knows not to shoot Bruce. And then Godzilla turns back around and goes about his business. And Bruce tells Ross, we monsters stick together, Ross. I don't have any choice about the monster in me, but you can give yours up if you're strong enough. And that is where Godzilla vs. the Incredible Hulk ends. So that was Godzilla vs. the Incredible Hulk, and I really enjoyed this issue for the most part. Even though the title is somewhat clickbait, we didn't really get to see Hulk fight Godzilla. It was more of a team-up story against Hedorah. And it was very straightforward. It wasn't trying to be this masterpiece or this groundbreaking way of storytelling. It's very straightforward. You got kaiju madness, including Incredible Hulk, and he goes in there and starts smashing shit up. It's a really fun issue in my opinion, and I do recommend it if you're looking for some cheesy entertainment. And that's another thing I like about this. So this story is set somewhere in the late 1970s into the early 1980s. So this is in a time where we was in the silver age of comics, I believe, for Marvel. Correct me if I'm wrong. So this is set decades ago, and it doesn't mess with the rest of the continuity that is currently going down in the main Marvel universe. So it could be its own thing, you know, it doesn't mess with any other timeline or anything that's going on. It's its own separate thing. Hell, you can even say this is a whole different continuity, which I kinda do get that vibe from. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right. Please let me know. I thought the artwork was quite good as well. They used a more Showa / Heisei design for Godzilla instead of using the Monsterverse design. Don't get it twisted, I do like the Monsterverse design of Godzilla. I'm just sick and tired of seeing it everywhere, you know, like there's different iterations of Godzilla that have completely different bonkers designs, you know, like can we start seeing different ones for once? And we got that here, and we even got a whole new version of Godzilla, the hulked out Godzilla with gamma radiation and his gamma charged atomic heat ray, which I thought was really, really cool. Very short though. I think that's one of the downsides of this comic. I think that whole transformation was very short and brief, but it was really cool. I don't think they could have made the issue any longer than it needed to be. I mean, this is a very straightforward book. It's not got a lot of dialogue. It's very image heavy. So I don't think they could have done any more. Maybe we could have gotten more detail in like the actual fight scenes. But overall, I was very happy with this book. There will be more issues for this story. So we got Godzilla vs. the Hulk. And I believe the next issue will be Godzilla vs. Spider-Man. Godzilla vs. the Fantastic Four, Godzilla vs. the X-Men and the Avengers, I believe. I need to do more research on that. But if you guys would like to see more of these comic books, let me know in the comments below. Or if you just want it to be a single one and done, that is also fine. But if you guys did enjoy this video, make sure you drop a like, or if you didn't, drop a dislike, that also is fine. And if you are new to the channel, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.